My... Oh, it does have control support. My work is not yet done. I have a special plan for this world, but for now we are young from the world to come. I guess we'll start with the first one? I don't know. Now she's torn between two feelings. Okay. Left thumbstick. I'm gonna use the D-pad. Left trigger to direct the subject to collect observations. Inspect outlook. This place used to be a pretty popular vacation spot for hikers and campers before it got scoured by hurricanes. There used to be a pretty infamous 1,000-step descent and concomitant ascent. The hell does concomitant mean? I don't know. To the gorge floor. Every brochure we came across during prep testified to the fact that it was particularly a sight to behold in the autumn. It's not difficult to imagine. Even now, I can still see the appeal of it. I wish I would have come here in different circumstances. After the DCV shut down from public access, the CPC offered to take over maintenance of the facilities in the area in exchange to being granted the rights to set up a long-term research installation on the old campgrounds overlooking the gorge. On paper, the purpose of the mission was to monitor the flow of the river and upkeep the hydroelectric plant downstream. It's unclear whether they were aware of, at the time, of the acquisition of the real reasons behind the DCV cordon, but seeing as they established an additional fortified station less than a year into their 10-year tenure, it seems they figured it out pretty quickly. Press A. What? Interact with. When am I interacting? Pick with up note. I don't know what that says. To Amy. What the? Common name Rebecca. Okay. It's Imperial Sovereign Authority of Carcosa. Oh no, we deal with more Lovecraft. I already know Carcosa's not good. Like, Carcosa's like King in Yellow. Oh no. Already we're dealing with Lovecraft stuff. I actually know this is King in Yellow considered Lovecraftian? I know it's cosmic horror. There's not much more I could do at this point. I should start heading back to the station. Okay. Where's the station? Okay. A tower of stone stacked atop one another, whose seemingly precarious assembly conceals an impeccable sense of balance and integrity. Without being able to locate a body, and believe me, I tried, I can't conclude for certain if R's actually dead. And R, I'm assuming, means Rebecca, from what we saw from that ID. But still, I fail to see any other possible interpretation that doesn't immediately spiral into the realm of the conspiratorial. All of this is unmistakably hers. The clothes, the boots, the ID, the handwriting, and the signature on the note. The sight is so recent that somehow it's almost as if I can feel her presence still lingering. That's ominous. There's a sense of calm, unwavering deliberation present in both the construction of the cairn and the presentation of the surrounding contents. It doesn't seem as if she's made this choice suddenly, or in an unsettled state of mind. How neatly the clothes have been folded, the way her card and her note were arranged so that I could not have missed them or mistaken the intent behind their placement. She must have brought this dress with her as part of her personals. I've never seen it before. Did she wear it in defiance or acceptance of her fate? This was a premeditated choice. The terminal surfacing of a process I had failed to notice in time. Why? It's customary to disassemble each cairn you build before you leave, and to return the stones where you found them. I wonder why she left it standing. It feels like an act of revenge, almost. Although I don't know why it feels that way, or against what, or whom. I can't bring myself to scatter it apart. At the very least, though, I should probably bring her ID back so there's some trace of her in the record. And this and this note she left me too. Our work is done. Why wait? Do I have like an inventory? Because I want to look at that note more. Inspect cairn. Inspect gorge. Okay. From here down to the gorge floor is a nearly 200-meter drop straight down, uninterrupted. I stood there for what it felt like hours, trying to remember what it was... Trying to imagine, rather, what was going on in Rebecca's head at the moment. I think it was too hard on her in the end. Didn't take her fears seriously enough. Oh, I think I was too hard on her. Okay. But if we really had left that night, we might have met an even worse fate. I don't know. I should have stayed awake. There was no way of knowing, either now or then. There was no one out there, I'm sure of it. I searched as best as I could in vain. It's too far down, the vegetation too thick to be able to make out anything beneath. But even if I could, what could I actually do? There's no way down there that's survivable. Without a body, though, they won't be able to consecrate her. There's no proof that she's dead, no remains to recover. But there's no proof she's alive either. She's just gone. That's all I know. I don't know anything. Okay. Anything else we can inspect? You? Outlook we did. Cairn we did. Gorge we did. Okay. Damn, that clock is going fast. Okay. Oh, maybe we can see more down here. Nope. Okay. I'm just exploring all my buttons. Okay, here we go. Oh, what the heck? Okay. It's like a tracking camera. Okay. And Weird. Okay. Where's the path? Okay, here we go. I just want to be like, let me just look at stuff. There's nothing to see. Okay, is this a path or... Nope. Okay. Oh, there we go. What the hell? Somebody whistling? If somebody's whistling Amazing Grace. Where are we? What? Okay. Hold on. Nope. Is this just outlook? Okay. Oh, is this? No, this is is this? I think this is a dead end. Yeah. Feels like a dead end to me. Maybe down? The heck is that sound? What if this is just me going off the beaten trail? Like, and we're like, well, you're not finding anything. Oh, yeah, I wonder why. It'd be foolish to head out any... It's gonna get dark, so head back to camp. Where's camp? I'm trying to get back to camp. Apparently, I'm just going the wrong way. Ah, we're back on the path. No, except we're not. Except we are not. Inspect the tile. Inspect the bunker entrance. Nope. Inspect the tile. I won't lie, the choice to tile so extensively down here, instead of around the actual ERP itself, remains one of the more baffling, if however ultimately benign, curiosities to be encountered. If only just for the sake of saving some time having to scrub out tracks of mud so frequently. Okay, where's the bunker? There we go. The emergency exit of the maintenance bunker. Strangely, none of the codes we were given to the keypad seemed to work, and I was never able to gain access to any of the systems within from the station computer. Furthermore, despite clearly having being an identified structure that fairly conspicuously appears on the station schematics, the very existence of it goes completely unmentioned in any of the previous mission's AARs. Which is odd, given their meticulousness otherwise. But how do I get to the... Okay, so... I gotta get back on the path. AARP? Oh, no, not... can I get back on the path over here? Come on. Let's get back... Come on, you can do it. Get back on the path. So we can go to the bunker. I think the bunker is camp. I'm not sure. What, is there anything else she wants to look at? Tiles. Steps, okay. A set of steps leading down to the entrance to the maintenance bunker. They were constructed presumably at the same time as the station itself, and yet the level of complete degradation and wear relative to the quality of the materials used in their construction seems to suggest they've been here far longer than is logistically possible. Elle, in one of her last moments of apparent sanity, claimed to have encountered a nearly identical set of steps in pristine condition one morning while servicing an air quality monitor. As far as we could tell, it was the event that singularly, I'm reading, my reading is like, As far as we could tell, it was the event that singularly precipitated, that's, yeah, her decline into complete madness. We went out and searched for hours around where she reported to have encountered it. To date, none of us were ever able to corroborate her account. Or corroborate, yeah, that's what it is. Nor identify the precise location of her bizarre encounter. So are we going down or up? We going into the bunker, or are we... we'll just keep walking then. Actually, hold on. Can we go to the maintenance bunker, or are we... The entrance was over here, right? I don't know the code. Wait, was that knocking? Okay. Wait, why would something from inside be knocking? Mighty suspicious. That's not water. Where am I going? Okay. Apparently I've just gotten completely off the beaten trail. Okay, maybe if we go up from the bunker, we'll find camp. Is this camp? Maybe this is camp over here in this building. Although this building doesn't look like it's in too good of a shape. Well, here's home. Or at least as close as I'll get to one out here. There's still just enough life left to be able to take one more look around in case I missed something. I doubt it'll make much difference, but I don't know. I feel like I have to do something. Maybe I should just call it and get some rest. God only knows how much harder things are going to get from here out. Those look like bushes? Now that looks like... I was thinking that looked like the building decaying. Can we inspect the outpost? Okay. M3 claims in their AAR that upon arrival, they found the exterior of the ERP almost completely overgrown with vegetative sprawl. Oh, you were right. It is bushes and stuff. So dense that the structure was practically concealed even within stepping distance. Oh god, it's starting to rain. Apparently it took them an entire day of handiwork to clear enough of it out just to secure the entrance. We hardly needed the informed opinion of our resident ecologist then. To immediately cast some skepticism upon their account when we arrived, bush knives in hand, only to discover a mostly bare and entirely obstructed edifice. How naive in retrospect. Of all the shacks and ditches I've had the privilege of calling a home, I'd say this one probably falls a bit more on the upscale end. I'm gonna go inside. I'm not walking around in the rain. I was gonna keep exploring, but let's not do that. Oh, it's just like airlock? Okay. I'm more used to these doors being completely transparent top to bottom, but I guess this place is both old and far out enough that they never got around to fitting it with the newer model. Not that it's much of a problem from any practical perspective, really. I'm not at all worried about the structural integrity of it or anything like that, and there haven't been any problems going in and out. I will admit, though, that the porthole contributes to a rather unsettling effect at times when looking outward. I'm assuming that's where the horror is going to come from. This panel controls, amongst an array of other fairly inconsequential functions, the operation of the doors into and out of the antechamber. It also contains a mechanical override which allows one to bypass the security scan in an emergency situation in which either a signal can't be established with the central verification process, or if no credentials presently exist within the system. Unfortunately, we were only able to locate one key by the time we arrived, which, as much as I hate to entertain the potential implications of, R must have taken it with her when she left. Okay. Decon shower. A standard issue field shower typically used for rapid decontamination in dynamic situations. This one has been modified a bit to directly accommodate the piping to and from the outpost's built-in reserves, rather than having to rely on a separate cistern. And at some point, someone fixed it in place and for whatever reason, added an actual chassis to it. By the end of the first week, we were able to pretty soundly corroborate our initial expectations in regards to the presence or complete lack thereof of any potential environmental contaminants. Per standard protocol, that should have eliminated the need to regularly use it at all. However, it failed to account for something even worse than any degree of trace NBC residue. Goddamn fucking humidity. Yeah, I think we're does she want to use it then? No, okay. We never found out what happened to that fourth EPG. Not like we ever got remotely desperate enough to even think about putting any of them to use in this fucking humidity. We collectively decided early on, that the admittedly non-zero risk of contracting some potential alien contagion from the environment was a small price to pay for dodging the experience of drowning in one's own sweat. And at the end of the day, it's just one more unknown variable to account for. Okay. A flowchart detailing the proper procedure for ensuring safe, clean entry into the inner chamber of the outpost. It looks rather complicated, but in practice, barring the suspected presence of actual active contaminants in the environment, obviously, it's about as straightforward as common sense could dictate. Get in, change out of your soiled clothes, use the decon flush, change into clean clothes, get out. So, should she change? It's not saying... Oh, I gotta get in this way, dumbass. I'm not showering with my clothes on. Where's the... What? Then where do I go to change? Take off clothes. Okay. Are there new clothes here? Okay. An inventory management system that allows us to store, process, and transfer items safely between the vestibule and the inner room. There are two main cleaning chambers. Sensitive stuff, biological and chemical samples, electronics, batteries, anything that includes organic materials, goes into the smaller chamber on the right and sits there for about an hour or two, depending on the quantity. We use it mostly to clean and keep track of the raw ingredients we manage to forage that eventually get processed into the generic food material that's fed into the printer as stock. I'm not exactly sure how it actually works, but given that I've yet to come down with any debilitating digestive afflictions, and all of the electronics have passed through more or less intact, whatever's going on, I suppose I can't really question it too much. Everything else, bags, containers, mechanical devices, whatever, goes into the huge central container and bakes under a light box for about a half an hour to an hour before it can be safely retrieved. There's enough room on the racks that I can just leave my pack there until I head out. Technically, you're supposed to take everything out and separate all of it, but that's assuming there's actual contamination, which I'm pretty sure there isn't here. We don't know that. I'll wait for my clothes to finish washing. Well, we might as well continue. It's just me now. I guess there's still a couple of things around here that might warrant some attention. But, hell, right now all I want to do is take a shower and go to sleep. The rest of it can be damned, at least until tomorrow. I can barely maintain a cognate thought? Cogent? I don't... Okay, where's your bed? Oh my god, I could look at every single thing. Oh my god, that's a lot of looking around and reading. One should never underestimate what a genuine luxury it is to be able to consistently have a clean set of clothes at the ready, especially in such rancid conditions. This was a lesson T and I learned very quickly during our first years together, although back then the problems and priorities were reversed. Now that I think about it, I don't think we were able to come to an agreement on which, between the sweat-damp mire of this cursed wood, cursed wood, wood, yeah, I don't know, or the polluted scorch of the arids, was the gentler of two hells. I guess the proper answer is that we should be thankful that at least they never sent us up north. R's workstation. Oh, sounds like the laundry's done. By morning there was nothing left. Not on the main drive, nor the aux, nor even in the coal box. No entries, no data, no docs or logs of any kind. Somehow, even her credentials had vanished from the server. Every entry scan and login instance? Not a single trace of any record that would indicate she was ever here to begin with, let alone one that could offer the implication of a motivation. I have yet to report her disappearance. A part of it, I must admit, despite how utterly pointless it is at this point, stems from some residual sense of professional reluctance, knowing how internal will probably construe this. The other, greater part of it, though, is that I just don't know what to make of it myself. Given everything that's happened, it's difficult to imagine some greater conspiracy compelling enough to inspire desertion under such conditions, beyond simple despair. I find it difficult to blame her. And yet, I find myself resenting her decision. It's tempting to call it cowardice, but in that temptation lies the uncomfortable realization that it's really me who's the coward, and that it's my own obstinacy. And if I'm being completely truthful, my own mounting despair. That's the true target of that pathetic accusation. All of this for what? A stray radio wave? Tumbling about in the darkness? It was here before us, it'll probably still be here long after us. And yet, only one of us is left. Maybe she was right after all. Maybe our work here really is done, whether I want to admit it or not. It's not too late. There's still time to call in another extraction, salvage what we were able to accomplish, mourn that which was lost, pack up, turn around, go home. If I could just bury this wretched pride of mine. Maybe the best thing I could do at this point is for all of us is to live, so that they may still be a witness. So, could I take the laundry out? Or do I gotta go back out and deal with it? Wait, hold on. Oh, I can change again? I don't need to do that. My workstation. What use it serves anymore, or why I even still bother with it, I have no idea. But I found myself returning over and over again to my duties, even now, checking the emplacements, logging reports, even rereading old ones. I don't know what it is I'm looking for at this point. Maybe just some sign, I don't know. Of what? I'm even less sure. At the least, I can now admit that there's a certain comfort to it. The rote repetition and routine of it all. Hairline fractures, I guess. Comfort's not the right word. Evidence is what it is. An indication of where things could have gone so fucking wrong. Something with which to indict myself. Possibility that one of us, that I, missed something obvious continues to haunt me, even though I can never find anything to corroborate that suspicion. I don't know, maybe I'm just being dramatic. At the very least, it's a way to pass the time until extraction arrives. Makes it feel like I'm doing something. That there's even something left for me to still do. T's workstation, a bramble of wires, cable ties, and assorted electrical detritus is strewn across the surface of the table. She was working on some kind of modification to the field receiver before, well, okay. I keep on telling myself that she's still somewhere down there in that basement, that she must have somehow just slipped through the cracks of, I don't know. I don't fucking get it. One moment she was there, and then the next, it happened so abruptly. Just like with Elle. I'm ashamed to remember that some part of me back then remained skeptical of T's account. Having experienced it now firsthand for myself, her relative composure in retrospect seems almost heroic. It might sound callous, but I almost wish she had just died. At least then there's been a body to recover. Something to which to bear actual witness, a kind of bleak consolation in the obvious finality of it. But instead, all I've been left with is an absence so abject in its refusal to allow definition that I find myself needing to play tricks on myself just to be able to confront it. Conjuring up all manners of explanations and speculations that I know to be terminally inadequate. The only way I can think through this is by falling back over and over to the simple, stupid reassurance that we've gone through so much worse in our years together, and that there's no way that this is how I lose her. I tell myself that the observatory is still right there, that I can still go back, try to look for her at the very least, bring back her stuff instead of letting it rot in that darkness. She would have done the same for me, I know. But if she wasn't there somewhere, she would have found a way to contact me by now. I already know it's been too long that I'm too late, and there's no more us now either. Just me. I'm wondering if he's already gone mad. Heh. A double-sided mobile whiteboard, utterly indistinguishable from the kinds you see in any other office setting. I find it difficult to believe that any of our people could have, or would have, for that matter, rucked something like this all the way here. Although, who knows, I suppose you can never really be sure these days. More likely than not, one of the CPC teams probably just left it here during the evac. Supposedly, the first team we sent in after they left was told to just smoke everything they found in here that wasn't mission critical, but I guess for whatever reason they made an exception. Whatever the case, though, it's been unexpectedly useful. I'd hazard a guess that our heightened appreciation for it stems more from the improbability of it having been here at all than any particularly astounding intrinsic properties. But I mean, it's just a whiteboard. Who cares? After all the pretense, it seems that every mission boils down to some minor variation of this. Sitting in front of some dumb machine day after day, waiting for a few fickle wavelengths to trickle into range. Hoping that one of these days, maybe, somehow, the noise will start resembling something approximately like meaning. What kind of god dwells in such inconstant and frangible margins of this world that our best hopes of some sort of understanding always invariably seems to bring us to such desolate and cursed places? In pursuit of what? Slivers of a fucking spectrum? Inquiries of this kind no longer seem so distinct from the insensate, schizoid stubbornness of insanity. And yet every night I keep listening anyway. I'm wondering if he has already gone mad from, the loneliness. Seeing everyone's chairs just sitting there empty around the table started to get into my head a bit. It didn't take long to notice that it felt just as uncomfortable being the only one with a chair set out. I ended up just putting them all away. It just didn't feel right. Okay. Oh, that's the same thing. We read that earlier. Okay. Early on, while we were setting the place up, we made an agreement to reserve this table strictly for eating and recreational use. Given how long we were staying here and how little space we had otherwise for activities unrelated to work, it felt like an appropriate, perhaps even necessary concession for the sake of our well-being in the long term. There's no more we now, and the mission has likely run past its course, and yet still, I find it difficult to run afoul of that decision. Okay. Honestly, I can only claim partial facetiousness in suspecting that this kitchen's unit probably the only true barrier preventing me at this point from completely slipping into savage and unseemingly dietary patterns. The food fabricator. It's noticeably slower and more cumbersome than even the ones that come standard with most service-grade kitchen modules these days. But out here, it's positively a luxury. It's very simple to operate. You load the ingredient stock and flavoring packets into the hopper, select the recipe, and in 15 minutes or so, by some marvel of engineering, you've got yourself a steak or a stew, some bread, or even a cake if you please. Whatever you want, really. Some people back home protest the taste, but I've always been rather partial to it. Something about it fills me with a certain comfort, maybe just the warmth of nostalgia. And anyways, given the present conditions, it's infinitely preferable to the alternative of boiled dandelions and unseasoned stone-fried worms. Worms. Delicious. I tried cooking for the group only once, although I reckon that cooking is putting it rather generously in terms of the actual steps, or lack thereof, involved. Elle was trying to teach me how to prepare some kind of dough mixture for some kind of bread. Trust me, you can't mess this up. It's like the easiest thing to learn how to make, she said. In any case, that was the last time I was tasked with culinary duty. So, you fucked up making bread? Ow. It still comes out a little fizzy still for the first couple of seconds, but it otherwise seems to be working fine now. When we first arrived, the water from the sink was strange. Neither muddy nor cloudy, like you'd expect it if there was, say... Stop making fun of me. Have you messed up bread before? I'm sorry. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It's like, how do you mess up bread? I actually can't really talk, because like, I haven't actually made like bread from scratch. So, I could... maybe it is actually easier to mess up bread than I thought. I wouldn't actually know for sure. Like, I haven't actually tried to make bread from scratch. When we first arrived, the water from the sink was strange, neither muddy nor cloudy, like you'd expect if there was, say, a buildup over time of sediment or minerals or the like, as is somewhat common this far out, but almost milky, and with a sweet, faintly floral scent. Even after running it for well over an hour, the murkiness persisted, and an inspection of the cistern, there we go, and the piping alike revealed no obvious points of failure. None of the other fixtures seemed to be afflicted in the slightest. We didn't dare to drink it. When we woke up the next morning, it seemed to have cleared on its own. Not just the water from the sink itself, but inexplicably the sample was still had collected as well. We never figured out what happened or what it was. Oh god, were they going mad from the beginning? Kind of funny that across at least 5 expeditionary efforts over a decade-long period, no less, not a single one of us apparently ever felt bothered enough to tidy up all the random packaging the original equipment and workstations and stuff must have come in. To be fair, I doubt recycling gets out here often. A shelf containing a bunch of boxes filled with tools and printouts and spare components and all manner of other miscellanea, the bulk of which I have little immediate use for. Okay, what else is there? Boxes. Your boxes. Some of my stuff. The night before she disappeared, R and I spent an hour or so packing up and flagging all of our personal effects for recovery to pick up. Mostly just additional gear and clothes, some bits and pieces of random off-contract or aftermarket shit I bought for backup, which I didn't end up needing anyway. Nothing I really stand to regret losing, to be honest. Although even just the act of having been able to pack some things up offered a sense of much-needed finality in the moment. Okay. What's this? Oops. Stacks of sleeping pads, okay. I could have sworn that R's pad was still carried a slight hint of warmth when I stacked it up with the others. Of course, she'd been gone for nearly an entire day by then. Definitely long enough that it couldn't have been possible. At that point, though, maybe I was just looking for reasons to fuck myself up. Why didn't I hear her leave? Okay. Have we looked at everything else? Boop, bop, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. I can look at the bathroom. Okay. Oh, lockers. Okay. There's a lot of looking at stuff in this game. Oh, a set of personal storage lockers for, well, storing one's personal items. They're pretty standard as far as these things tend to go. Just a simple chip scanner. Nothing fancy. The lock part of it was really more of a pretense towards formality than any particular sense of suspicion or distrust. We'd arrive at an unspoken agreement pretty early on to not look, at least intentionally, at each other's things when we were moving stuff in or out or anything like that. It wasn't a lack of curiosity that kept us from looking, but more so, I suspect, an acute awareness of each other's vulnerability. And with that, our own too. At some point, though, I'll have to breach that trust if I'm to assume the responsibility of safeguarding the retrieval of their items. Anything that's not specifically inventoried for extraction usually gets torched by the retrieval team per protocol, and it's not like I can really just mark an entire locker either without being able to list its contents. Yeah, I get that. Okay. Partition. A makeshift door partition fashioned haphazardly from a sheet of heavy tarp. It does a surprisingly decent job at blocking out light, although it does virtually nothing about the sound. But at the end of most days, you're probably tired enough that you don't notice much of it anyways. Not that it matters now, I guess. Okay. One must never underestimate or downplay the psychological importance of having a functional toilet. Truthfully, I wasn't expecting anything anywhere near this nice. It's even got a proper stall and ventilator. For everything that's gone abjectly fucking wrong, at least the shower still runs. At least the shower still runs and runs hot. Sure beats the thrill of squatting on a pallet under a fuel can getting trickled with days-old rainwater. Oh. Oh, that's my bed, apparently. Ah. It's a bit squishy for my preferences, but I can't really complain. At least there's no stains or smells. How do I get into bed? There we go. I was getting caught on. Am I not going to bed? Oh, there we go. I want to take a shower first. Didn't you already take a shower? Is a regular shower different from a decon shower? Okay. Okay. Apparently, showering in the clothes was okay for this area, but not for the I guess whatever. Close the curtain. Why? My work is not yet done. Is that it? Is that the demo? Good demo. I mean, I'm intrigued in the story. I'll give it that. Like, if anything, I would play the I'm kind of like I would want the answers as to what happened. So at least it hooked me on that. If this is the end of the demo, there are more chapters coming. I mean, the menu did look like there were other chapters. So, like, we could try seeing if this is the end. I could try clicking one of the other entries and see if that does anything. It sounded like food frying. I was thinking like that. It does sound like it's a sizzle from like bacon or something. O Lord, support us all the day long until the shadows lengthen and the evening comes and the busy world is hushed, and the fever of life is over and our work is done. Up